My name is Emrah Ganzevi. I work as a lecturer in the Department of Polish Language and History in Istanbul University. My field of study is Polish grammar, fortunately. I would like to say that I am very happy to be with you at this conference. I also want to thank you for organizing this conference. As you can understand from the title, today I will try to tell you about historical adventure of some words in Polish that taken from Turkish. The word etymology used throughout Europe is a combination of the ancient Greek word etymos, meaning real, and logos, meaning knowledge, meaning, and is generally explained as real meaning or knowledge of real meaning. The term was first proposed by the Greek philosopher Chrysippus about 280 to 207 before Christ, who lived according to ancient Greek culture in the ancient city called Soli Pompeipolis, located in Mezitli district of Mersin, or a province in today's Turkey. When asking about the etymology of a word, it's clear that the ancient Greeks actually wanted to learn the real, that is, the original meaning of that word. However, it's very difficult to find the real meaning of some words, because relying on language sense is not enough to understand the etymological meaning. It is necessary to learn the equivalents of these words both historically and in related languages. In addition, since the vocabulary of a language reflects the cultural history of the nation that speaks that language, cultural changes also leave some traces in the language. In order to understand the original meaning of a foreign word, it is necessary to learn the history and meaning of that word in the language to which it belongs. The historical interactions between different cultures have always played a significant role in shaping languages. Languages evolve over time, absorbing words from different linguistic and cultural backgrounds due to trade, migration, diplomacy, and artistic influences. The Polish language, having historically interacted with various cultures, including the Ottoman Empire, has integrated numerous Turkish loanwords. The Polish language, like many others, has borrowed words from various linguistic sources, including Latin, German, French, and Turkish. Of course, there are hundreds of words borrowed into Polish from Turkish. It's not impossible to explain all of them here in such a limited time, but I will try to explain the most important ones. First, let's start with coffee, which is a very deep-rooted and characteristic tradition for us. The word kahve is derived from Turkish, which itself has roots in the Arabic kahwa. This is, of course, the pronunciation. It's a popular drink, first in the Middle East and then throughout the world. The term was later adopted by the Ottoman Turks as kahve, from where it spread across various regions, including Europe. The introduction of this lexical loanword into the Polish language can be traced back to the 16th century, a period marked by increasing political and economic ties between Poland and the Ottoman Empire. Beyond its role as a simple loanword, kahve has demonstrated a remarkable capacity for semantic productivity within the Polish language. The word has spawned a multitude of derivative forms such as kaviarnia, cafe, kaviarniarny, cafe related. Tak? Yeah. Kavowy, coffee related, and kavosh or kaviarsh, coffee lover, reflecting its deep-rooted integration into the cultural and linguistic fabric of Poland. Once incorporated into the Polish language, kawa underwent phonetic and morphological adaptations to fit Polish linguistic structures. The word retained much of its original form but adapted to Polish pronunciation and grammar. The meaning of kawa remained consistent, referring to coffee, but it became deeply ingrained in Polish culture and daily life. The habit of drinking coffee was introduced to Poland from Western and Eastern cultures in the 17th century. On the one hand, coffee was introduced to Eastern Poland thanks to Armenian and Turkish merchants. The habit of on the other hand, the habit of drinking coffee that became widespread in Austria after the siege of Vienna also had an impact in the cities of South. In both cases, it was the Turks who introduced Poles to coffee and the word coffee. It also has reflections in literature. For example, Tadeusz Kruszyński, who wrote a booklet on coffee, shares recipes for cooking and drinking Turkish coffee in his monograph titled The Proper Way of Taking Turkish Coffee. The Proper Way of Taking Turkish Coffee. One of the first coffee amateurs in Poland was King Jan Sobieski. Legend has it that hundreds of big sacks full of coffee beans were saved by Jerzy Franciszek Kulczycki during the siege of Vienna in 1683. The Polish word filiżanka, meaning small cup, was derived from the Turkish word fincan, which itself originates from the Arabic fenjan, meaning cup. It passed into Arabic from Persian pingan albo bingan. I also don't know exactly pronunciation, pingan albo bingan, from Persian. The spread of the word filiżanka in Poland coincided with the growing popularity of coffee and tea in Europe. The Ottoman Empire played a central role in introducing coffee to Europe, and Polish nobles, merchants, and soldiers who traveled to Ottoman lands or interacted with Turkish traders became acquainted with the practice of drinking coffee with small cups, that is filiżanka. As coffee culture took root in Poland, the need for a term to describe the small vessels used to serve it naturally arose. Poland's early adoption of coffee drinking, influenced by Ottoman customs, further cemented the presence of filiżanka in the Polish lexicon. By the 18th century, coffee houses, kawiarnie, had become an integral part of Polish urban life, and the term filiżanka was firmly established. When fincan entered Polish, it underwent phonetic and morphological adaptation to fit the structure of the Polish language. The transformation from fincan to filiżanka involved the addition of the diminutive suffix ka, which is commonly used in Polish to indicate smallness or affection. This adaptation made the word more natural within the Polish linguistic framework, aligning it with other words such as szklanka, meaning glass, and butelka, meaning bottle. Today, filiżanka remains a widely used term in Polish, specifically referring to a small cup, typically for tea or coffee. The Polish word kaftan means a long-sleeved, full-length garment. It comes from the Turkish word kaftan, which in turn originates from Persian word kaptan. The word is a combination of kap, meaning sack, and ton, meaning garment. So the original meaning refers to a sack-like garment. The vocabulary of clothing and jewelry holds immense cultural significance, serving as a window into the history, customs, and interactions of nations. The word kaftan is a prime example of this, as it has traversed centuries and continents, leaving an indelible mark on the Polish linguistic landscape. Tracing the origin of kaftan, we find its roots firmly planted in the Turkic linguistic family. This garment, once a sartorial staple in the Ottoman Empire, has transcended its initial cultural boundaries to become a part of the Polish sartorial lexical. The integration of kaftan into the Polish language is a testament to the rich history of cultural exchange between the two nations. In the 15th century, it appeared in the Polish vocabulary as kaftan with W, meaning a type of overcoat, but in the 16th century onwards, kaftan or koftan with F meant the upper part of armor sewn from several layers of leather or canvas. The next word, divan, in English carpet, originates from the Turkish divan, which historically referred to a cancel, assembly, or a collection of poetry. The Turkish term itself came from Persian divan, great council, which had a broader meaning, including a royal court or a place where government officials met, often adorned with luxurious carpets. A change in meaning has occurred from Turkish to Polish, while the original Ottoman Turkish word divan primarily referred to a council or assembly in Ottoman culture. These council rooms were often richly decorated with cushions and carpets. Over time, the relation with carpets became more prominent in Polish, and divan became more popular as a rug rather than a council. As Polish speakers have integrated this Turkish loanword into their daily lives and discourse, they have imbued it with new meanings and associations, allowing it to become a part of Polish linguistic and cultural heritage. Once adapted into Polish, divan underwent phonetic adaptation to fit Polish pronunciation and spelling norms. Unlike some foreign borrowings that remained niche or archaic, divan became a common and fully integrated word in Polish. Today, it's the standard term for carpet in every usage. The incorporation of this Turkish word into Polish demonstrates the productive capacity of loanwords, as they can generate new words and expressions through various morphological and semantic processes. The next word is tulipan. In English, tulip. Tulips are primarily associated with the Netherlands, but their homeland is Turkey. Here is why Netherlands. come to mind when tulips are mentioned. In the mid-16th century, tulips were brought to Europe from the Sultan's court by the Austrian ambassador to Turkey, named Bousbek, and their cultivation was undertaken by a Dutch botanist. Over time, new varieties were created, and tulips themselves became increasingly popular in Netherlands. But as I just said, the homeland of tulips is Turkey. The name tulipan derived from the Turkish word tülbent, meaning a cloth with which turbans were rolled, which is related to the resemblance of blooming tulips, to rolled up cloth. In other words, the connection between the term for a turban and flower tulips arises from the flower's shape, which resembles an oriental headdress, a wrapped turban that is used to cover the head. According to one story, it was probably a humorous misunderstanding that ambassador asked the translator the name of the flower that the Turks pinned onto their turbans at that time, but in response he heard the word for headscarf tülbent, that is turban, not lale, that is tulip. One of the most fascinating Turkish loanword in Polish is karabela, a term that carries historical and cultural significance as it refers to a distinctive type of curved sword. The specific route of karabela into Polish likely involved other intermediary languages, possibly through Hungarian. The complexities of historical linguistic transmission make it difficult to pinpoint the exact path with absolute certainty. Nevertheless, the Turkish origin is undeniable. The word karabela originates from the Turkish karabela, which itself is derived from kara, meaning black, and bela, meaning trouble or affliction. The word is seamlessly integrated into the Polish lexicon, maintaining its Turkish pronunciation and meaning. The introduction of karabela into Polish military and noble circles can be traced back on to the 16th and 17th centuries, a period of intense interactions between the Polish, Lithuanian Commonwealth and the Ottoman Empire. While initially a weapon of war, it soon became a symbol of the Polish nobility, often ornately decorated with engravings, jewels, and intricate designs. While no longer in practical use, the karabela sword symbolizes Poland's past and the rich cultural exchanges between Poland and the Ottoman Empire. The karabela, in its journey from black trouble to a symbol of Polish nobility, embodies dynamic process of linguistic and cultural adaptation. The other word is kalkan. It originates from Turkish kalkan, meaning shield. The term itself comes from earlier Turkic languages. The introduction of kalkan into Polish military terminology can be traced back to the 16th and 17th centuries, a period of frequent encounters between the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth and the Ottoman Empire. When kalkan was borrowed into Polish, it underwent slight phonetic and morphological modifications to fit the phonological structure of the Polish language. Kalkan to Kavkan. The adaptation resulted in Kavkan aligning with Polish pronunciation and spelling conventions. Although shields like the Kavkan are no longer used in modern warfare, the term has remained in the Polish language primarily in historical and academic context. The other Turkish loanword is haraç, which historically referred to tribute or tax.
Excuse me, Emrah, you have to switch slide, I think. Haraç.
For haraç, I have no slides. Yes. Which historically referred to a tribute or tax imposed by a ruling power. The Polish word haraç originates from the Turkish haraç, which refers to a tax or tribute, particularly one levied on non-Muslims under Ottoman rule. The term itself has roots in Arabic kara, which historically denoted land tax. Today, haraç remains in use in Polish, though its meaning has evolved. While it originally referred to an official tribute or tax, it's now often associated with extortion or protection money, particularly in the context of organized crime. This shift in meaning reflects broader societal changes where historical concepts of tribute taking were reproposed into the more modern economic and criminal contexts. And now let's look at the word bazar. The word bazar originates from the Persian bazar, meaning market or trade district, which entered the Turkish language through extensive Persian influence during the Seljuk and Ottoman periods. In Turkish, bazar, spelled pazar in modern Turkish, retained its meaning as a marketplace where goods were exchanged. The Polish language absorbed bazar primarily during the early modern period, a time of significant interactions between Poland and the Ottoman Empire, 15th to 18th centuries. Polish merchants, soldiers, and travelers encountered Ottoman bazaars, vast marketplaces filled with exotic goods, spices, and textiles, and brought the term to Poland. Over time, the word bazar became an important part of the Polish language, retaining its original meaning. Today, in Polish, bazar refers to an open-air market or a place where vendors sell various goods, much like its Turkish and Persian predecessors. Despite modernization and the rise of supermarkets, traditional bazaars still exist in Poland, especially in smaller towns and cities, preserving their historical significance. The next Turkish loanword in Polish language is torba, meaning sack or bag. This Turkish term in turn has roots in Persian, highlighting the widespread linguistic influences across the Middle East and Eastern Europe. When torba entered Polish, it remained relatively unchanged in pronunciation and form, which is unusual compared to other loanwords that underwent significant modifications. Unlike many borrowed words that acquire diminutive or affectionate forms in Polish, torba has remained its straightforward meaning, though diminutive forms such as torebka, meaning small bag, woman's handbag, or purse, have developed over time. This diminutive form further demonstrates the natural integration of torba into the Polish language, adapting to the linguistic structure while preserving its original meaning. Today, torba is a common and widely understood word in Polish referring to various types of bags from shopping bags to travel satchels. The adoption of torba into Polish wasn't simply a matter of replacing an existing word. While Polish likely had own terms for bags and sacks, such as worek, sakwa, and torba, likely carried with it minor nuances in meaning, perhaps referring to a specific type of bag or sack, or perhaps associated with particular cultural practices related to its use. This is a common phenomenon with loanwords. They often bring with themselves new shades of meaning or connotations that enrich the borrowing language. One of the most fascinating words borrowed from Turkish is kilim. It describes a flat woven textile rug commonly produced in Anatolia, Persia, and Central Asia. The Turkish term itself likely derives from Persian gilim, which refers to a coarse woven fabric. The technique of weaving kilims dates back thousands of years, with origins in nomadic cultures that used these rugs for both decorative and practical purposes. During the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, kilims were used not only as floor coverings, but also as wall hangings and decorative pieces in manor houses and plazas. As a word, kilim retained its original spelling and pronunciation, as the word easily adapted to Polish phonetic rules. Its unchanged form highlights the prestige and authenticity of the product it presents. The adoption of kilim into Polish reflects a broader pattern of borrowing terms connected with luxury goods and artistic traditions. The prevalence of the term kilim in Polish literature and documentation from the 16th to 18th centuries underscores the significance of these lexical borrowings within the broader cultural landscape of the time. The adoption of kilim into Polish went beyond mere practical terminology. The word and the textile itself also carried cultural weight. It became associated with a specific type of rug, often characterized by geometric patterns and a flat wave distinct from European carpets. One of the most interesting words borrowed from Turkish is rahat vukum, referring to the famous Turkish confectionery known today as Turkish Delight. Its journey into Polish highlights the centuries-long cultural exchange and fascination with exotic products from the East. The Polish word rahat vukum is derived from the modern Turkish lokum. Rahat meaning comfort or ease, and lokum referring to a type of sweet. The term originally came from Arabic rahatül hulkum, which can be translated as comfort of the truth, emphasizing the pleasant, soothing texture of this confection. The Polish word sorbet originates from the Turkish sherbet, which itself comes from the Arabic sharba, meaning drink, or from the Arabic verb shurb or shariba, meaning to drink. The original Turkish and Arabic forms referred to a sweet, often fruit-based beverage that was commonly consumed as a cooling refreshment. Over time, this concept spread to various regions, including Europe, where it evolved into the semi-frozen dessert known today as sorbet. While the original Turkish meaning of sherbet as a liquid refreshment is less commonly linked with the Polish term. The word's presence in the Polish lexicon is a testament to the impact of Ottoman culinary traditions on European and Polish gastronomy. And now, apart from nouns, I have no slide for this one also. There are also verbs that have passed from Turkish to Polish. The most frequently used of these in Polish is koçować. It comes from köçmek, meaning migrate, a verb in Old Turkish. In today's Turkish, it has taken the form göçmek. The Turkish root köç from the verb köçmek refers to the migratory lifestyle of nomadic Turkish tribes. While originally tied to military and nomadic contexts, koçować has undergone semantic shifts in modern Polish. The Polish verb koçować emerged as a linguistic adaptation of this Turkish root, evolving to mean to live in a temporary dwelling, to wander, or about some animals to stay in a certain area for certain period of time. The adaptation of koçmak to koçować reflects the typical process of linguistic borrowing. The Turkish verb köçmek was transformed into the Polish imperfective verb koçować. This involved adding characteristic Polish verb ending ować, a common suffix used to form verbs. This adaptation not only integrated the word seamlessly into the Polish grammatical system, but imbued it with a specifically Polish flavor. In Polish language, words such as koczowisko, meaning nomadic camp, koczownictwo, meaning nomadism, koczowniczy, meaning nomadic, and koczownik, meaning nomad, are also derived from this verb. All these borrowed words are reminders of how languages and traditions interweave over time, shaped by changes in trade, diplomacy, and lifestyle. As it is seen, the transfer of these words into Polish was facilitated through interactions with the Ottoman Empire, particularly through trade, diplomacy, and military encounters. During the 16th and 17th centuries, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth maintained extensive contact with the Ottomans, which led to the borrowing of various Turkish words related to warfare, fashion, and daily life, including terms about food and drink. The adaptation of these words into Polish from Turkish also highlights the profound influence of historical encounters on language development. Furthermore, it encapsulates centuries of cross-cultural exchange between Poland and Ottoman Empire, demonstrating how languages absorb and adapt foreign elements in ways that reflect broader historical and social dynamics. In tracing the story of borrowed words, we gain deeper insight into Poland's linguistic heritage and the ever-evolving nature of human communication. The fact that some words were not directly borrowed from Turkish but passed into Polish through intermediary languages exemplifies the rich and dynamic nature of linguistic and cultural exchanges. Ultimately, these words offer a fascinating glimpse into the linguistic exchanges between Turks and Poles, tracing a path from the steppes of Central Asia to the heart of Eastern Europe. Thank you so much for your attention.